Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'll be showing us how I make this high-low circle top. Now let's get into the video. You need between 2 to 3 yards depending on the length of your top and the length of your sleeve. I used 3 yards for mine. The first thing I'm going to do is fold my fabric in two by the 3 yards length. So I'll take one side and join it to the other side just as you see me do, and lay it flat on my cutting table. Next, I'll take the closed end and join it to the open end. So basically, I'm making a right angle triangle. So I'm using the closed end and taking it all the way to the open end. If yours is going to have a zip, then you need to leave zip allowance at the open end like this, but mine isn't going to have, so I'll just align my closed end to my open end so they are both equal. Next, I'm going to draw a straight line at a right angle to the folded end, but make sure the straight line can accommodate my shoulder plus allowance. If you don't have enough space to accommodate your shoulder plus allowance, just move down until you find sufficient space to accommodate your measurements, shoulder divided by 2 plus your allowance. Now that I have my line, I'll mark my shoulder measurement, so that's 14 divided by 2, 7 plus half an inch allowance. Next, I'll go down by 1 inch from where I marked my shoulder measurement. From that 1 inch mark, I'll measure my chest line, which is my round bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. So based on my measurement, mine is 7.75, so I'll just mark that. The next thing I'm going to do is to draw my neck curve. So for the front, I'm going to be using 3 inches by 3 inches. And then for the back, it's going to be 3 inches by 1 inch. So I'll just mark that on this. Don't forget, my fabric is folded in 4. That means I'm cutting the front and back at the same time. So I'll just draw my neck curve for the back and for the front. Apologies if you can't see my markings, the chalk is a bit faint. But I hope that my explanation is able to provide more clarity on the pattern drafting. So I'll be connecting the 1 inch mark to the neck curve to give me my shoulder line. Next, I'll mark my shoulder measurement at the chest line just so that I have a straight line, and then I'll use a ruler to connect my shoulder to the measurement I just marked at the chest line. At the chest line, I'll apply my bust measurement, my round bust divided by 4 plus my allowance. So because this is not a fitted top, I added 5 inches to my round bust measurement. So round bust 37 plus 5 inches divided by 4. To create the armhole curve, I'll divide the armhole line by 2 and mark the midpoint. And then at the midpoint, I'll go in by 3/4 inch for the front and 1/2 inch for the back. I'll take a curved ruler and connect my points together to give me my armhole curve. So I'll connect my lines for my front and I'll connect the lines for the back as well. The next thing I'm going to do is to connect the bust measurement to the length of the fabric with a slant line. And then from the shoulder line, I'm going to measure the length of my top. So I'll leave my tape at that point of the shoulder and measure the length of the top across the fabric, just as you see me do. After I've marked this across, the next thing I'm going to do is to cut it out. Now go ahead and cut out my pattern. So I'll cut out the back pattern first, the back pattern line. So the neck curve, I'll cut it out, the shoulder, I'll cut it out. After I've cut it out, I'll take out the one inside and leave the part with the chalk marking. So the one I'm taking out is my back pattern. So the next thing I'm going to do is to cut out the neckline and the armhole for the front pattern. Because the top is a high-low top, basically the front length is shorter than the back length. I'll just take out some inches off my front length so that I have that high-low effect. You can either do this by measuring how long you want the front to be or just taking off some inches off the full length. So I'm just taking off 15 inches off my full length and I'll mark that at the center front. And then I'll go in about 10 inches from the side front and then take my measurement at that point and then just taper it all the way from the center front to my side fronts. So when I'm done drawing my curve, it's going to be like an S curve, starting from the center front, and then when it gets to the side, it makes a bend and tapers to the end, so that the sides is still the same length as the back, and it's just the front that is shorter. So I'll cut it out and then you'd see what the S curve looks like. The next thing I'm going to do is to cut the facing for the front and the back, because this is what I'm going to be using to turn the neck. So I'll just place the neck of the front on the face on a piece of fabric that I have cut out, and then I'll just cut the same neck, the shoulder, and part of the armhole. So that will be depending on the length you want your facing to be. I'll do this for the back piece and for the front piece. Next, I'll go and cut out the sleeve. Apologies, I didn't cut the sleeve on camera, but I'm going to link a video where I explained how to draft the sleeve in the description, so you can go ahead and watch that so you know how I drafted this sleeve. So I have all my pieces now, the facing, the sleeves, front and back pieces. So I'll start by sewing the facing to the fabric. So right face facing right face, I will then take it to the sewing machine and sew it all the way to the end. I'll do that for the front and for the back. So I've sewn it together. So the next thing I want to do is just to notch it around the curve so that it balances better. I'll do that for the front and back, and then I'll go and iron it. So I've ironed it. The next thing I'm going to do is to join the front and the back by the shoulder. So I'll place front and back together and then take one of the facings and turn it, just as you see me do. So I'll take it to the sewing machine and sew it across. I'll do this for both shoulders. So I've gone and sewn it, and this is what it looks like. So I'll just turn it to the right side so you can see what it looks like on the right side. So it's just that neat finishing. The next thing I'm going to do is to hem the end of the sleeve, and I'll do that for both sleeves. If this video has been helpful, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. I have more videos like this on the channel. After hemming the end, I will sew the sleeve to the body of the dress. To attach sleeve to body, I will attach it by the midpoint. So I'll take the midpoint of the sleeve to the shoulder of the dress. Then I'll sew from midpoint to the end on one side, and then come back and sew from midpoint to the end on the other side. I've done that for both sleeves. The next thing I'm going to do is to sew it at the sides. So I'll just take it to my machine and sew the allowance that I left. I'll also be checking the measurement to ensure that it's correct to my body measurement. So I'll sew it all the way from the sleeve down to the body of the dress on one side, and I'll do the same for the other side as well. So I've done and sewn it, and this is what it looks like. So the next thing I'm going to do is just to hem the edges. So I'll just sew it all the way around. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you found this helpful. This is the final result. Thank you all for watching. I hope to see you in my next video.